Hey, how's it going, everyone? Ryan here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Acorn, and welcome back to Animal Crossing: New Horizons. I don't have many cool places to set up my camera for the intros these days, as I'm still in the process of designing Acorn. As you can see here, it is still a barren wasteland. But since the last update video, you can probably tell that there is a lot more terraformed. And if I show you guys the full map, you can see here that, man, a lot of Acorn has actually been terraformed up to the 2nd level. I'm still on the game plan currently of getting everything up to the 2nd level, building houses up here, and then possibly doing some sort of treehouse design. You can see that I've already started working with kind of the jungle feel by placing everything on the 2nd level, primarily using the 1st level for trees. And yeah, as the process moves along here, I'm planning on hopefully cutting out more of these holes, placing more trees in them, adding more waterfalls, albeit not as much as I had on my first initial iteration of my island on Animal Crossing: New Horizons. And yeah, other than that, still quite a bit more terraforming that needs to be done here. As you can see, I have this outline still on the right-hand side, but that's because I need to move this house over here. But that is not the main reason why I am making this video today. We are going to be taking care of some chores this morning, but today is going to be a good old-fashioned kind of Animal Crossing and chill style video, which is basically just kind of my Let's Play series for Animal Crossing: New Horizons while talking about something in the background. But I will be taking care of some things, like cleaning up these weeds and moving houses. But in today's video, I wanted to talk about, of course, the title of this video, which is kind of what do I hope, or what are my expectations or things that I wish we could see in the sequel to Animal Crossing: New Horizons. New Horizons has been out now for a little over, wow, it's hard to believe that in a couple of months New Horizons will have been out for 3 years, but it'll be close to 3 years. And as it is with most video gaming things nowadays, the longer that we get from the previous thing, the more we get closer to figuring out or trying to guess when the next big thing is coming out. And in this instance, it would be, one, when is the next kind of Nintendo console going to be coming out? But as a big Animal Crossing fan, of course, that means two, when is the next Animal Crossing game coming out? I know that for the last few months or so, I would say, especially around this time, a lot of people think, or rather not think, we joke a lot about, is there going to be a new Animal Crossing this year? And I think, honestly, with the history of Nintendo and how it works, I think that there's really no reason or need to get your hopes up for a brand new Animal Crossing in 2023. And to be completely honest, I really don't think there's any reason to get excited for a brand new Animal Crossing basically until they release a new console. Historically speaking, Nintendo generally releases new Animal Crossing games whenever they have a new console released. And so with that in mind, I sincerely doubt we'll be getting an update, or rather a new sequel to Animal Crossing, before we get another console. With that in mind, though, one thing that I've been getting asked quite a bit whenever I stream over on Twitch is, what do I hope for the next Animal Crossing game? Going back on the expectation, there's a lot of us that are, one, when the new console comes out, going to be wondering when exactly the next Animal Crossing game is going to be coming out. I don't quite know exactly how long it was before this game came out, how long it was before when the Nintendo Switch came out, but hopefully when the next game comes out, it doesn't take much longer than shortly after the console comes out. And to be completely honest, this is going to be quite a far-fetched idea. This is going to be me just like doing a pipe dream sequel. But if I were to have it my way, if Nintendo came to me and said, hey Ryan, we want you to help us design the next Animal Crossing game, what are you thinking? To be completely honest with you guys, as far out as this might be, and that's no like sort of pun intended or anything like that, I would honestly be totally down for Animal Crossing in space, which I know is, again, it's really far-fetched, it's really out there. How would that even work? In my brain, the way that I'm looking at it is Animal Crossing in space is basically just like, think about Super Mario Galaxy. If you've ever played Super Mario Galaxy, think about the idea of Mario being able to fly between different planets. And even though, you know, he's flying from planet to planet, the planets are relatively small. He's not going from what appears to be like galaxy to galaxy, even though he is. But when you travel within the planets of that galaxy, the travel is pretty quick. The planets are fairly small, and they're all themed their own particular way. When I think about the sequel for Animal Crossing, it's really hard not for me to go the Fast and Furious route. What do I mean by that? Eventually, they made so many Fast and Furiouses that we all assumed that at some point they would just have to go into space. And I guess spoilers for Fast and Furious 9, I think, is the one that came out as the timing of this video. The one with John Cena. They went to space. Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson were both sent to space, thus completing what is basically the expectation that a lot of people had, which is, when are we going to send the Fast and Furious guys to space? And so the question now becomes, I forgot which house I need to move. I think I need to move Barrel's house. Don't worry, Tom Nook, I'll talk to you in a moment. For me, the question is, will we ever get to that place? All the Animal Crossing games up until this point have basically just been, you are brought to a town or a city. In this instance, we were brought to a kind of an abandoned island. And instead of being like the mayor, we were tasked to... Marshall needs to move. Okay. We were tasked to become the resident rep. Build the island, design it however you want to. And yeah, that's Animal Crossing New Horizons. So... yeah, I think that would be something really cool. Like, if you imagine, when it comes to villagers in this game having their own particular homes, or even, I guess, even going to Mystery Islands in order to find different villagers that you can get to. Imagine instead of going to Mystery Islands, you go to different planets. And again, it would be Mario Galaxy style planets where the planet isn't huge, but it would fit in line with the whole, like, curved walking structure of Animal Crossing that has been here since basically the very beginning. So yeah, Animal Crossing in space would be my honest go-to of where I would want Animal Crossing to go. You can basically think of New Horizons, but instead of traveling to islands, it's planets. And you can design everything as well too, and that's another feature that I have been thinking about as well. And the reason I think about the whole designing thing is because this is the first game in the Animal Crossing series that allowed you to basically design the town, or I guess you know, you can build a town in this game, you know, in essence. But this is the first game where you could really design the location where your villager, or rather your mayor, the resident rep, whatever you want to call it, actually lives. You get to design the rivers, you get to design the mountains, the cliffs, you get to design pretty much everything. And with the way that it's been going, I think about it like Pokemon. I think about how in Pokemon Arceus, I viewed it as kind of a test for them trying more of an open world structure, and maybe not even Arceus. I guess you can go as far as to say even Sword and Shield was basically like that too. But Arceus was definitely more so like that, and as far as I can tell, I don't own Scarlet or Violet Pokemon, and I don't not sure when I will be getting it, if at all. But as far as I can tell, the open worldness of it was basically exaggerated, or made basically the same concept idea was brought into Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. So with that in mind, I have to imagine on some level, honestly, that this game was a test to see what an Animal Crossing game would be like in regards to, you know, giving us that much freedom. In doing so, they removed a lot of things. They removed a ton of buildings. They removed a ton of NPCs who, of course, would occupy those buildings. They have kind of reconstituted various features to be under one thing. Think about like Harv's Island, for example, which I guess is not different, but it was, I don't know, it was so much easier to have all the buildings on your own island to do. But with that in mind, I can't honestly imagine them taking what appears to be a step back. Animal Crossing New Horizons did so much for the ability to be able to design things that taking this feature away in the next Animal Crossing series seems almost, like I said, like a step backwards in regards to the overall goal. Really? That can't go there? I guess I need to remove this one more over in order for this to work, but that's okay. I guess I don't want to put a suspension bridge here. I'll keep the suspension bridge for now in my pocket because I know I'm going to use it at some point, but okay. But yeah, so let me put down Marshall's house now. I can get that out of the way. So I cannot honestly imagine them removing the feature to design things. Going back to the Animal Crossing in space kind of thing, you imagine just this, but you're designing an island, and again, I can't imagine what that would look like. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas here of what I think the next sequel could be. If they were to remove the designing aspect in any capacity, like if they were to remove the ability to terraform whatever it is that they decide to do next, it would have to be something incredibly significant. I'm not saying that this overall gameplay that they've chosen for this game changed the Animal Crossing game, like the series altogether. For the most part, when I play this game, I do still feel like I'm playing an Animal Crossing game. But given the amount of work that you have to do as well too, it's really easy to also just view this game as being so unlike the others, because of the fact that a lot of what you have to do in it is basically predicated on what you want to do that day, which for some of us is fine, and for others means that the game becomes a chore. But I digress. Yeah, I think that in an Animal Crossing sequel, they will probably have the ability to design or terraform in some capacity. And if they don't, it's probably because some weird gameplay change is making it so that like your overall daily things are taken over by something completely different. That being said, and going back to the NPC things, NPC events are something that I truly definitely miss in the series. Isabelle now obviously gives us updates for who's on the island or what events are coming up. For example, this morning I got the update that this Saturday was this island's first fishing tournament. And of course, if you log in on a general day, you get told which NPCs are there, if there are any at all. I don't think she gave me notice that Leaf was around, but I think they don't give notice if it's just someone who sits in the plaza. But yeah, more NPC events. And I'm not just talking about the ones that only occur on like New Year's or like the Festivale or something like that. I mean, just in general, I want more random NPCs to show up to be able to provide some sort of, I guess, reason to want to log in every day. When the reason to log in every day in New Horizons was simply just to design your island, that means that eventually you will stop playing this game, which is, you know, not untrue of most video games. But the design part of this game being what appears to be the main part of it means that the game can end very quickly for some folks. And for a lot of us who are looking for that kind of daily login thing, this game eventually you might hit a speed bump on, especially if you are uninspired when it comes to designing things. So I want, wish, hope, pray, fingers crossed, all 10 of them, I guess, that in some capacity in the next game we get a lot more events. And whether or not that means bringing back more buildings to your whatever it is that you end up designing, if you are designing anything, I actually wouldn't mind it. I still maintain that the reason that there's not a lot of buildings in this game is because of the fact they wanted you to focus on island designing. And I guess when it comes to random NPC events, like who would give those events? Well, in this one, for example, we had Rover, who I hoped we could just get as a regular villager, but in this game, Rover is delegated to simply providing the Mayday Maze, which means that you only basically get to see Rover one time. And when the Mayday Maze came out, to be honest with you guys, I thought there was a chance maybe that maze was going to be something that popped up every now and again. If anything, I thought maybe there was a chance that the mazes could be procedurally generated. And if you don't know what that means, it means every time you go to it, the game itself automatically tries to build a maze every single time randomly, rather than having like someone from Nintendo pre-make the maze and they just load it into the game. That's that, and I think procedurally generated, when I think about it, is more the line that I would want to go. If they were to keep this style of Animal Crossing, I would want to go to Mystery Islands, and I would want to run into different types of Mystery Islands, kind of similar in the vein of No Man's Sky, which I guess goes hand in hand with the idea of wanting Animal Crossing to take place in space. I want the ability to be able to go to islands or random locations where you could find villagers and have the island be something completely different every single time, because the game is just mixing and matching and mishmashing all different things together to create these procedurally generated things. I think that would be so cool. On some level, I think they were going to do that with Cap'n, or at least that was my hope. Obviously, that didn't happen. But yeah, I think that would be something really cool that, if happened, would be a great thing for the sequel. It would, again, keep everything fresh. It would make it so that going to Mystery Islands wasn't just something that you just did. And it would make everything kind of cool and different and unique. And you never know what kind of island you could run into. And I think that would add so much to being able to experience a lot of variety in this game without, again, creating it yourself. So that would be really awesome. With that in mind, I would also like to keep villager hunts. I like Obviously, if you've been a fan of this channel for a while, you obviously know that whenever a villager moves out, I get incredibly excited because of the idea of being able to go to another island, a mystery island, and to be able to find another villager to bring to the island. And this helps wonderfully when it comes to making videos and just in general the entertainment value of this game, because, you know, I guess this just furthers the whole randomness thing of it. The villager hunting or starting villagers in this game is one of the most exciting parts of the game because it is the part of it really that's kind of random. Yes, when you go villager hunting, you get to pick the villager at the end of it, assuming you end up finding one or you don't want to spend that many tickets. But who you run into until you actually go to that island is always such a toss-up, and it's an exciting time. And for someone who plays a lot of video games and enjoys the randomness of video games, that would be something that would be really great. So villager hunting is perfect and keeps perfectly in line with everything I would want for the sequel. And so I hope that we continue to be able to have the ability to go to random islands and find villagers on it. Do I hope that they'll keep introducing more villagers? I don't really think that's a question. I think the answer to that question is always going to be a resounding yes from the overall community. It's always nice to see new villagers. And I like how they released only just a small amount of villagers this time around. I think the 2.0 update only introduced maybe 15 to 20 new villagers. That number might be a little bit skewed. I can't quite remember off the top of my head how much it was. But the new additions were awesome. The only one I really cared about was Faith at the time because I was doing an all koala island. So that, you know, I didn't really have an opinion on the other villagers, but just the idea that you could run into them or that they were given for those who want those villagers was cool. I like Petrie, I like Marlowe, Shino is awesome, Ione I obviously have on this island now, and they're great. And I think if they keep releasing villagers and the quality of, you know, those types of villagers, I think that would be pretty rad, and I think that would be ideal. I was gonna mention that I wanted shops as well to kind of come back to the main island. As I mentioned before, they kind of started reconstituting buildings to be put together. Mail, for example, you now just get outside your home, and you may have gotten them outside your home before, but I do specifically remember like a post office as well too. And I'm not saying that a post office is absolutely needed, but you know, again, it goes back to wanting something to do every single day, and going out, your character automatically walking outside their front door at the beginning of the day and being able to just open up your mailbox, that doesn't you know, it doesn't really engage me as much as I had hoped. So yeah, I was gonna mention shops, but I've already kind of talked about buildings. So yeah, shops is kind of a given. But the last thing I want for the next Animal Crossing game is one that, I don't know, feels kind of like a cop-out. And not for any particular reason except for just the fact that the reason I want these features is primarily just because of their small annoyances in this game. And what I'm talking about is the quality of life features for Animal Crossing New Horizons. If you played this game for a long time, or even I would say longer than, we'll say 5 to 10 hours, you probably have gotten to a point where you wish that you could buy things in bulk. You probably wish that you've gotten to a place where you could create things in bulk. Maybe you want to go to Able Sisters and buy 10 different shirts instead of one shirt at a time, and have to go back into the dressing room and do that every single time. I still think that in a world of microtransactions and trying to get as much people on your game as much as possible, even though Animal Crossing New Horizons doesn't have things like a battle pass or loot boxes or things of that nature that would inherently keep you here, at least from a monetary standpoint, from a time standpoint, boy, it sure does. Every animation after a certain amount of time feels so tedious. Everything that you do that you want to do a billion times or even 10 times feels like it takes a little bit too long. Terraforming is something that, as an example, is incredibly tedious. If you've ever flattened your island, you know exactly what that feels like. And as someone who's building up to the second level, watching the animation over and over again, I thought I got all the wasps. That's okay. We're gonna make it to resident services though, I think. Actually, I'm gonna go in here. Can I come in your house? Thank you. So yeah, just general quality of life features. So being able to bulk buy things, faster travel. If we are to keep the ability to villager hunt and things of that nature, man, as someone who's villager hunted, I think over like 1,000 to 1,500 tickets at this point, having to constantly go back home to your main island, then go to another island, is it makes villager hunts take a lot longer than they feel like they're supposed to. I think if you were to remove that, a 2-hour villager hunt would probably take someone maybe 30 minutes. I did the math. To go from one island to the next as efficiently as possible in this game, if you're doing a villager hunt, takes about 3 minutes. So to do a 20-ticket villager hunt is a whole hour. Now think about the fact that I've done some videos 100 tickets. Those, whenever I do those live streams, they are anywhere between 3 to 4 hours. And for a normal person that isn't making content, I still to this day recommend not villager hunting. It is such a pain. But as someone who does make content and who does like the gambling aspect of it all, I wish that they keep it. so faster travel in general would be fantastic. But other than that, think of all the quality of life updates you guys can think of. Think of all the quality of life updates that people have been asking for this game since the very beginning. You could even go so far as to say people's request for tool durability to be available, or a hit spot like in Stardew Valley where you can see where you're about to terraform or mess things up, because your character, when they work on the grid, they will adjust themselves appropriately, and sometimes it messes up your design or whatever it is that you're planning. I think that for the most part, any quality of life update that you all can think of that you wanted in this game, I think that it's not unfair to say that we wish that for the next game. But like I was saying before, in a world currently of trying to get as much time out of us as possible, I do not think that is something that will happen. I just can't see it, because of the fact that it would be the only thing they can do to keep you here without speeding the whole game along. It's the same reason why, for example, I think that golden tools don't have infinite usage. I think when we all got the idea of golden tools in our head the first time, I think on some level we thought, hey, it's because it won't break. It's a golden tool. Why would it break? It feels like it's pointless if it breaks, and it still does, just not as fast as the others, of course. I just don't think they'll do anything about that. I think they're going to keep it there, and I think that most of the things that we all think become a little bit tedious in this game, unfortunately, it's just one of those things that I think gets kept. Not because they necessarily have, I don't know, maybe they do have a good reason for doing it. Maybe there's a reason that isn't just keeping us on the game as much as possible, but oh, it's hard not to imagine that is the case. But for now, everybody, I've been now talking basically non-stop in this video for what feels like over 20 minutes, and I think it will be an over 20-minute long video. So I hope that you all enjoyed this little Animal Crossing and chill style video. I am obviously still hard at work on trying to make Acorn look really pretty, look really nice. Let's do the double bars. That's a nice little outro there. It's very, very cinematic. And yeah, I'm still taking my time with it, and if you are someone who has restarted this game, I highly recommend taking your time with it in general. It's a wonderful game when you try to remove, and you do remove, all of the kind of the distractions of seeing other islands and stuff. Take your time with it. Take your time. It's a fun game if you just take your time with it. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Hey, let me know in the comments section down below what you hope for in the Animal Crossing sequel. It could be a continuation of something I said in this video, or it could be a brand new idea that you have. I would love to hear and see what you all think about the next Animal Crossing game down below, and I think other people would also like to see. Maybe there's an idea you have that other people didn't even think about. So let us know in the comments section down below. Until next time, everybody, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me in Animal Crossing today. I really appreciate it. Keep an eye out for more content. Be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on to my channel if you are new here. And if you like this video, be sure to like the video. Lets me know you want more, and also that you guys really like this one. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, afternoon, or whatever time it is that you watch this video, and I will see you guys next time. Take care, everybody.